Welcome everyone to the Chompcast, the official podcast of Sword Chomp and SwordChomp.com. Thank you for downloading or streaming our show, taking time out of your busy life to listen to us. And remember, please, if you're digging the show, subscribe, leave us a kind rating, share it with your friends, whatever it takes to get the Sword Chomp name out there. We have a great show today, a magical show, some might say. So I will introduce our magical guest that will be talking to you over the next couple of hours. Up first, we have, like I said, Josh, my keyboard died before the show, but I had written down Joshua the Hedgehog Bigot Fowler from Michigan joins us. How you doing, Josh?
You ain't a hedgehog, is you?
You ain't one of them hedgehogs. That's right, Mom. You gotta work on that accent, Josh. It's a little rough.
What are you talking about? A guy from Montana talking about a bad southern accent.
I'm telling you, man, people in Montana, we don't have accents. It's surprisingly boring up here as far as, the language goes.
Better tell some of the ranchers that.
Well, I speak for everyone in Montana, apparently. That's my new thing. I don't know why I wrote that down, Josh. I think you were just, whether you're sending us pictures of hedgehogs, or making fun of Sonic, I had you down as the hedgehog bigot. So is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Well, we're glad you're here. Are you excited to be talking Cuphead and other stuff? We're talking tough games.
Yeah, as long as we're not talking about hedgehogs, it's fine.
Well, Shay did play a little more Sonic Mania, so he might talk a little bit about it.
We don't like your kind around here.
Speaking of the kind we don't like around here, that would be Shay Layton from Japan, or as I had in my notes before they died, Shay, I would sell my testicles in the black market to play Cuphead Layton. How you doing, Shay?
Hey, I'm good.
He succeeded.
It worked. Oh, that's what that was? Okay. Nice.
It's magic.
But he's not playing Cuphead, so this could be a whole nother scenario.
Yeah, no. I'm very, very bummed about Cuphead. Very.
It's hard to imagine a world where Shay has talked about Cuphead for years, and he's the only person I know not playing Cuphead right now. It's a strange world, Shay.
'Tis indeed, but I guess I still have that shitty No Man's Sky game that you sent me to tide me over.
Or Destiny 2,
That's
D2.
true. That's true.
The time is right. God, that would have been great. Can you believe that? Like the thought that Shay might have been playing Destiny instead of Cuphead is just like an interesting mind fuck. But so I just like to do. I shouldn't keep rubbing it in. It's like salt in the wound, Shay. I'm sorry. We're glad you.
No, it's okay. It's no lack of effort from me, but we can go into that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Shay's in a tough spot. But we are glad you're here. Maybe we'll talk a little Sonic Mania and other stuff. And getting the thumbs up on the webcam, so that's a yes. Our next co-host, this is kind of a cool story. I just found out about this off the air, guys. So our next co-host, we were talking off air about how we're coming up on the Game of the Year show in a couple months, and Christmas, and how we love spending that time with our families in the season and all of that. And our next co-host told me this really crazy story about how he was actually kicked out of his office Christmas party, removed from his office Christmas party because he was hanging mistletoe. Yeah, he was hanging mistletoe from his belt buckle, and it became a real nasty situation. So here to tell us more about it, Anthony Fisher's here. How you doing, Fish?
Hey, I wouldn't call it a nasty situation. What? I guess some people have their, opinions about where one should hang their mistletoe.
Yeah. Was it more of like a warning, hanging a tree parasite over your branch full of parasites?
What?
I get that. I get that joke, Josh.
I don't. I was like, I don't even know what to do with that one, Fish. Don't feel bad.
I guess just trying to keep my worm, keep people away from my little worm or something.
I don't know.
That's all I'm getting.
I don't know. See, Sometimes they just say jokes and they let them hang there and just let us drift in our confusion. It's
Like that mistletoe.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that.
Nice.
I thought it was clever, Fish. I thought it was really clever, honestly. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, yeah, thank you.
you know.
Yeah, I wish you were there to partake in.
Well, yeah. Let's-
Yeah, you could have brought the party home with you.
It's true. You kiss the bald-headed prince, and then you get to take him home afterwards.
would they say 'tis the season to be bally?
Ball Z, but let's move on.
Bali?
It was worth it.
That's magical.
Oh, God.
Magical.
That's magical.
I'm gonna vomit. All right. Anyways, now that I've stuttered and short-circuited my own brain, and of course I'm Morgan Barnes from the blue skies of Montana, as I mentioned earlier, and we have a cool show today. We had to do some last-minute kind of rearranging. We had a guest that had some medical issues, so maybe we'll have her in another week or two. Firekeeper, a good friend of ours. I posted about it on the Instagram, but she couldn't make it. But we'll have her back hopefully in a couple weeks. Maybe we'll wait until Josh gets a hold of. Maybe Josh and Josh and Shay get a hold of Destiny, so we don't have to regurgitate too much Destiny until she's here, and then we can just regurgitate it all together in unison. Lots of regurgitation. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
Am I going to be the mama bird regurgitating into your guys' mouth, or is...
That's my fantasy. Is you're the mama bird, and I'm just. Oh God.
cheep, 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 cheep. Sustenance.
I feel like I'm drunk, but I'm really just loopy, I guess.
What
Anyways.
the hell is going on right now?
We got a great show today. So a couple of cool things on the docket. Of course, we're talking Cuphead. That is the game that has swept the gaming world by storm, and we've been really excited to talk some Cuphead. We are talking maybe a couple other small things, maybe a little more Sonic Mania from Shay because he's in Japan and he's been kind of going back through that. A little bit of Destiny, but not too much because, people get sick of hearing Destiny, but we just push it more to the back of the show because Destiny is an ever-evolving, never-ending game that people just keep playing. So it's always a little bit relevant, as painful as it might be for some of the Destiny haters out there. And the topic of the show, we had to switch up at the last moment. And it's we decided we're going to talk about gaming difficulty today, which I think is really appropriate because of Cuphead. And that should be a pretty fun last-minute switch. And a bio break. We have a really cool bio break topic that me and Shay are going to bring to the table as well when we kind of take a break from our nerdness to get our science nerd on. So gaming nerd, science nerd, it's all connected. Biology, life, nerdiness, and now I'm just rambling because I don't have my notes. I'm using my fucking piece of paper, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good show. So on this topic of difficulty, I'm glad we can, in a way, get to discuss this because as I was playing Cuphead, I was just thinking a lot about the relevance of difficulty. Like, what is too much? How important is it with a game? How does it affect us now as adults as opposed to when we were kids? There's so many fun layers to take this, especially that three of us are playing Cuphead, which is one of the more difficult games to come out in a long time. So, fun topic at hand. Let's just jump right into it. How about this? I'll break the ice a little bit. We've been playing a lot of Cuphead, and I've personally come to the realization that I've been, and this is where I stand on it, okay? You guys disagree, it's fine, because I know you guys have different opinions on me as a gamer, and that's okay. That's okay. Josh in particular. But I will say this. I've been playing video games my whole life, and I'm, 31 years old, I think. I always forget how old I am. I'm sorry. But I literally play video games for this podcast as a passion of mine. I've been playing them my whole life, and if I have trouble with the game, then I feel like it's just too much. And some people might say that's egotistical or wrong, but I don't give a fuck, okay? Because I feel like I'm willing to commit to a game. I know how to play video games, and I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. I even love a challenge. But if a game, to the point now in my life, pushes me away where I'm just like, fuck this shit, this is too much for me, and I am what I would describe a passionate or hardcore gamer, I guess, to a degree, then that's got to be too much, right? So, I mean, where do you guys stand on this and gaming difficulty and everything? Josh, I'll throw it to you first.
I mean, I think it depends on the game and what they're going for. Cuphead in particular is basically all bosses. It has some platforming stages in there as well, but it's basically bosses. And if it weren't difficult, there really wouldn't be much to the game. Like without this game being difficult, it's like a 30-minute game. So I don't know. It's like I think the difficulty was always. No, I feel like that was always the point from the beginning.
Yeah.
Just based on what I've played so far, it seems like they were intending to make it, pretty tough.
Yeah. Maybe it's because that art direction is so distinctive and without being too specific on Cuphead at the time, although it's fine for reference. That's a tricky argument, though, Josh, because what if you took something like Inside? If you were to make the puzzles easier or erase them, you basically could walk through that game in half an hour, too. I mean, that's a component of the game they wanted to build, sort of a classic, like, Contra-style shooter, right?
Yeah. I mean, Inside's a strange one, considering there weren't any puzzles in that game, but...
Josh's brain, it's
no, but I mean,
processes for
I don't know, the puzzles in that game, all their games so far, like Limbo was the same way with me. Like the puzzles didn't even seem to do anything in that game.
Like you knew what to do, it was just a matter of doing it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, they were all fairly obvious, other than like one or two traps that were like hidden in shadows. So you had to just die in them and then know they were there. I don't know. It was the puzzle in that game. I don't feel like in Limbo specifically, I don't feel like the puzzles added anything. In Inside, maybe the ones some of them were okay. Like they added to the story with the whole mind controlling themes going on there. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's something you have to know going into a game. What are you trying to do with the game? I think is a big thing. Like, is it narrative focused? Then maybe don't make people play the same thing over and over again if you're trying to tell a story. It should be easy enough to just kind of go through in order to accomplish the goal it's trying to, get across.
Yeah. So you're saying with the game, like Cuphead, they're designing it to be a boss run sort of game. If they made it easy, then what's the whole point? They're basically
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like there's very, very little else other than the difficulty to make that game take any amount of time.
Okay.
So
well, and one quick thing before we throw it to Fish and Shay, because I want to get this, because I know we kind of diverted on Cuphead, which is fine because it's on the tip of our tongues right now. But like, how do you stand with like gaming difficulty now as an adult? Like, as far as like how much you embrace it, how much is too much, like in general.
I'm sorry, was that to me or Shay?
Oh, sorry, that was to you, Josh.
I mean,
because you're the one we always joke with you as being like the good one. You're the good at games compared to.
I mean, I enjoy it in a game like Cuphead. I don't enjoy it a lot in narrative games. Like, I'd almost rather crank it down for some of them, just to make sure I'm not replaying anything. Just because it gets frustrating. I'm trying to remember what it was. There's something I was playing recently that was more story driven, but then had a couple challenging bosses with unskippable cutscenes, and seeing the same cutscene, 3 times in a row, it's just the worst. It's the worst. So I mean, I don't mind difficulty, but I only like it whenever I feel like that it's meant to be there.